Alison Krauss stood on stages most musicians only dream of.
Wonderful, wonderful talent. She has won a record 26 Grammy Awards. 26 Grammy Awards.
Spotlight blinding, applause echoing from velvet balconies.
Ain't it just like my tears?
For years, her voice felt unstoppable, her fiddle quick as a flicker of light. Then, almost overnight, everything changed. The golden girl of bluegrass, the queen of crossover, began to vanish. At first, we were wondering, was it exhaustion? Was she fed up with the industry? As the silence stretched, the questions grew louder. Interviews dried up, and even her closest bandmates seemed to choose their words carefully.
Just to your ear, just, kind of disasters instead of what you wanted to get out there.
What no one saw coming was how deep the struggle really went.
For me, the way the records were and the pace of the records and...
Her absence grew longer, heavier. Some called it a hiatus, others a retreat, but inside the story there was a shadow that would not budge. Something had broken.
Every silver lining always seems to have a cloud.
Now, with the world watching, Alison Krauss is back.
I wasn't there before, and then my brother's like, oh, this is a new era for the band. I can use eyes on him, like, ugh.
The reason is nothing anyone expected. Alison Krauss had never been a stranger to pressure. From her teenage years, she was hailed as a prodigy, a quiet force in bluegrass.
I always listen to men sing this stuff, men.
Her bow carving out melodies nobody else could touch. Awards piled up, first at small festivals, then on national stages. By the time she hit her stride with Union Station,
Alison Krauss and Union Station.
She was redefining what country music could sound like. She became the voice producers begged for, the artist musicians wanted to collaborate with, the symbol for a new kind of Americana. The music industry, always hungry, circled her talent. Expectations pressed in, sharp and relentless. She toured constantly, her name climbing marquees, her life becoming a blur of interviews, rehearsals, long bus rides through empty highways. On stage, she gave everything. Off stage, the exhaustion began to gather.
It's kind of got into this mind game of, if I do it now, it won't be as good as it could be next week.
Friends and colleagues noticed the toll, the way her laughter became more careful, her answers more measured. Even her music started to carry the weight, the longing for quiet, a pause, a breath.
We looked at each other and went, well, maybe we should carry on, and we gave it a little bit of thought, but
At the height of her fame, Alison Krauss seemed untouchable. She had won more Grammys than any woman in history, collaborated with icons, and delivered albums that never missed their mark. Yet, under the surface, her body was already sending signals.
Yeah, you do know, but I can't say there's a specific, other than you.
It began quietly, a fatigue that would not fade, headaches that lingered after the lights went out. Then the real blow landed, a voice that would not obey. Krauss was diagnosed with dysphonia, a condition that strikes the very thing that had made her a star. For a singer, for someone whose livelihood was the fragile magic of vocal cords, it was a kind of slow-motion disaster. The words would not come the way they once did. Notes wavered, confidence slipped, and performances felt suddenly treacherous. Doctors ordered silence.
So it wasn't natural to sing right above him. And so, I wondered how we would do that.
Shows were canceled, schedules cleared, and the golden run hit a wall. She was forced to step back from everything. The silence was not just professional, it was personal. The sound of her own voice, once her greatest gift, now felt like a betrayal. Those around her saw her withdraw. The endless energy was replaced by caution. Every decision, every attempt to sing came with the threat of disappointment. She was caught between what she used to be able to do and the fear of never being able to do it again. The struggle was relentless. Nights became battlegrounds of hope and frustration. There were days when even speaking felt like a risk.
Certain points in your life, and everything changed. You don't look at anything the same way anymore.
Krauss was no longer just fighting for her career. She was fighting to keep the thing that had defined her since childhood. The industry, of course, noticed. Her absence was a shockwave, headlines quietly speculating, fans wondering if she would ever return. Rumors swirled, burnout, band trouble, even creative rifts. What they did not see was the daily reality of rehab and retraining. Krauss became a student again, seeking out specialists, working with vocal coaches, rebuilding from the ground up. There was nothing glamorous about it. Each exercise was painstaking, each day a test of willpower. Some days, progress felt impossible, each attempt ending in disappointment. Other days, a single note would land just right, hope flickering at the edges. It was a lonely climb, marked by constant second-guessing. She watched others move forward, take the stages she had left behind. Interviews were rare. Social media went quiet. For Krauss, the silence was both medicine and torment. She missed the energy of the audience, the thrill of harmony, but she refused to risk a false return. She would come back only if she could come back whole. During her forced retreat, Alison Krauss faced more than physical setbacks. The break cracked open her private world. Isolation pressed in, old fears returned.
Attention to, I'm just looking for a likeness in a, a thread of feeling.
Her perfectionism, once her secret weapon, became a double-edged sword. The voice in her head questioned every plan. Was she still relevant? Would her audience remember? Was there a place left for her in a business that moves on so quickly? While some saw her absence as a strategic pause, behind closed doors it was anything but calm. The stress, the longing, the relentless doubt, these were the shadows that filled her quietest hours. Her friends and family worried, offering support, encouragement, reminders of her legacy, but the decision could only be hers. The music industry does not wait, and every year away added to the risk. The silence stretched, and with each passing season, the pressure only mounted. She wanted to return on her own terms, but her own terms were impossible to satisfy.
Start at the beginning and all the way through and never pick it up. If I didn't get to hear the whole thing, I'd start back at...
Behind the scenes, Union Station carried on. The band worked on side projects. Some toured, some recorded with other artists. They all knew what was at stake.
When you've got a voice like that up on the top of your mound of whipped cream.
Krauss's voice was the thread holding them together, the irreplaceable heart of the group. They respected her struggle, gave her space, but everyone felt the weight of waiting. Fans reached out online, sending messages, sharing memories of concerts, albums, favorite songs. The world kept spinning, and the music world evolved. New artists filled the gaps, new trends claimed the spotlight, but Krauss's absence left a hole nothing else could fill. Occasionally, she would make a quiet appearance, a one-off performance, a hint that maybe, just maybe, she was finding her way back. Each appearance brought hope and more questions. Was it a comeback or just a visit? The answer always seemed just out of reach. The fight to reclaim her voice was not just a physical battle. Krauss had to relearn trust in herself. Vocal exercises became meditations. Days started with silence, patience, and a relentless discipline that would have crushed most artists. Slowly, painstakingly, her voice began to return. It was not the effortless magic of her early years, but something forged in struggle, patience, and humility. She listened differently, paid closer attention to every breath, every note, every feeling. Gradually, the joy crept back in. Writing songs became less about chasing perfection, more about honoring survival. She collaborated cautiously, making sure every project mattered. For the first time, music was less about industry demands and more about personal truth. She began to realize that coming back would mean more than just singing again. It would mean facing the world, scars and all, and daring it to accept her on new terms. Then came the real turning point. Alison Krauss woke up one morning and realized the fear had loosened its grip. She had waited long enough. The world had changed, but so had she. The voice was not exactly the same, but it was hers, shaped by pain, strengthened by patience. She reached out to her bandmates, and together they started something new.
Looks like the end of the road.
It was not about reclaiming old glory. It was about gratitude, about the music that still needed to be made, about giving the audience what they had waited for. The recording sessions were intense, sometimes emotional, always honest. As the new album took shape, Krauss found herself enjoying the process, laughing more, worrying less. The first rehearsals felt like coming home. The comeback was no longer a question. It was a fact. Fans would soon understand the long silence was not weakness, but a fight only she could win.
It's what I see. It's like a movie.
The return of Alison Krauss was not a simple story of absence and comeback. It was a hard-fought victory, carved out of loss, uncertainty, and the slow process of healing. She could have chosen to let go, to step away forever, but she did not. The real reason she returned was not fame, not pressure, not even nostalgia. It was the rediscovery of the thing she had almost lost, the music itself. In the end, it was not her voice that made the difference, but her will to keep searching for it. For every fan who waited, for every musician who wondered, for everyone who doubted, her story is proof that sometimes survival is the greatest act of all. If you want more true stories, more deep dives into music's greatest voices, please like, subscribe, and join us for the next chapter.